Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. The following video will contain spoilers from the Flash episode, Welcome to Earth 2. We'll also be discussing the upcoming crossover episode of The Flash and Supergirl titled World's Finest, to air Monday, March 28th. So if any of this bothers you, you don't want anything ruined or spoiled for you, stop watching now. Hey guys, as you see, I'm showing both my Flash ring and my Legion flight ring. Why? Well, there's something very important I wanted to discuss with you all today. See, I've been thinking about this for a bit ever since Welcome to Earth 2 showed up. And during the travel from Earth 1 to Earth 2, Barry and the team had seen different images of past, present, future, and alternate realities. One where we saw the 90s version of The Flash, played by John Wesley Shipp. We also saw a flash of Supergirl, who we know is going to be crossing over onto CBS. Grant Gustin's going over there for one episode called World's Finest. I'm looking forward to it. People have been asking me, what are my thoughts? Am I going to do a review on it? You're darn right I am. That's going to be freaking cool. I have some interesting predictions and some thoughts to think about. One of the big things is that mostly since Supergirl deals with alien threats, they're only starting to really deal with other threats with powered people, but they don't have a term for them yet. I mean, they've dealt with Reactron and Livewire. I believe the World's Finest episode is going to also deal with the superhero in Silver Banshee, so that's going to be kind of cool. The thing is, they don't have a name for this yet, and I think that when they cross over, Barry will be the first person in the Supergirl universe to use the word metahuman. So that's going to become a cross thing. So I'm looking forward to that. But while they were in transit, we saw several things, including someone using a Legion flight ring. Now, Legion of Superheroes, one of my classic favorites back in the Silver Age, going through the various things in comics. For those that don't know, back in the Silver Age, when Superman was growing up, he actually had the identity of Superboy. There's been other Superboys since then, Con-El, Connor Kent, things like that. But essentially, he was the inspiration that 1,000 years from now, young people with their own superpowers, mostly aliens from other worlds or metahumans themselves or lab accidents, mutants, things, people that are either born with or somehow gain extraordinary powers, are inspired by the legacy of Superman to unite together to save the universe. Really cool. I loved checking it out back in the day, and now that DC's going through the rebirth thing to try to knock out the New 52 and actually establish a legacy again, that's kind of cool. But this raises a very interesting question. And here's my theory. What if, when we do see the future of the Legion of Superheroes, we normally associate it with Superman and Supergirl. But what if, in the future, on television, what universe are we going to see them in? And what if we see them connected to the universe of the Flash? Well, think about it for a second. The first place we saw the Legion flight ring was in transit on the Flash. Now, this could be indicative of something cool in the future. Maybe it's just a cool little Easter egg. Maybe they won't do anything with it at all, but I doubt that. But think about this for a second. Part of the reason that Superman or Superboy was the inspiration for the Legion is because he was the first. He was the one that set the standard for others to use their powers for the greater good and to help unite people, to fight for them, to give them hope. And that's really cool. But in the Arrowverse universe, although technically Green Arrow was first as a crime-fighting vigilante, well, even before that you may even have Wildcat and stuff like that, but the Flash in the Arrowverse is the first super-powered metahuman superhero. He's the one that's been doing stuff. Not only that, but they're setting up things to have a legacy where he's going to be the first time traveler and the first one to cross the dimensional barriers. So if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the multiverse. And I think it's a really cool nod to him. Plus, in the future, many of the Legionnaires only have one power, and they make the absolute most out of them. So imagine a Legion of Superheroes inspired instead of Superman and his Superman Museum, what if it's the Flash and the eventual Flash Museum that has a legacy that goes 1,000 years into the future to inspire these people with powers to come together? kind of cool. But like I said, I've always associated this with the Superman legacy, the Superboy, the Supergirl legacy. And it makes you wonder, what reality are we going to see them in? Now, it could technically work for the Flash, but I feel like that would be diminishing the future possible history of the legacy of Superman and Supergirl. And it just makes me wonder about it. I mean, the first place we saw the Legion flight ring was on the Flash. Yes, we know that the Flash will be crossing over from CW to CBS for Supergirl. But what about the future of the Legion? Now, there's all kind of very cool members. I loved the Legion of Superheroes growing up, man. The first original three: Lightning Lad, who had electricity powers; Cosmic Lad, who's a alien member of a humanoid race that all have magnetic powers; Saturn Girl, who of course she grew up on a settlement on Saturn, who all had telepathy and other various powers. There's a lot of cool people. I mean, Bouncing Boy might be a bit of a joke. Triplicate Girl, things like that. There are a lot of weird things out there. One of my favorites from the Legion was Ultra Boy. Originally, he started off, he only had one power, which was called Penetravision. It's like X-ray vision, only he could see through anything, including lead. Later, he found out that he could actually shift the ultra energy in his body to do different powers. Super strength, invulnerability, super speed, flight, Penetravision, and even something called Flash Vision. No relation to the Flash as far as I know. It's like heat vision. Only typically it's seen as a blue light, and can also be seen as a blinding light, used that way too. But there's a catch. Due to the ultra energy that infuses his body, he can only choose to use one superpower at a time. So if he's using Penetravision to look for bad guys, he's not invulnerable. If he's using super strength to hold up a falling building, he doesn't have super speed to get out of the way to keep it from crashing on him. So, he's got to be smart about it. Kind of the same way that the Flash has taken super speed, and he's got a healing factor. He can vibrate through solid objects. He's got speed learning. All these abilities that are all subsets of one power, super speed. In fact, a member of his family, his grandniece, XS, is actually a member of the Legion of Superheroes as the resident speedster. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, we've also got, connected to Superman and Supergirl, they were actually part-time members. In one reality, Supergirl goes to the future to fight there. And even in the Silver Age, there was a cool story that I'll go into in another video about a guy named Mon-El, who he thought was actually his Kryptonian brother. Turns out he was actually from a sister race, a sister planet called Daxam. They all have powers like Kryptonians, only they don't have vulnerability to kryptonite. Their vulnerabilities to lead. Worse yet, once they're exposed to it, currently their poison is permanent. The damage is permanent. They couldn't get a cure. Fortunately, there will be in the 30th and 31st century, and he'll be freed. Heck, one of Superman's greatest enemies, Brainiac, would actually one day have a generational set of offspring that one member, Brainiac 5, becomes the smartest and one of the most reliant members of the team. So that's pretty cool. So both the Flash and Superman, or in this case Supergirl, have long-standing legacies that could reach 1,000 years in the future. Even more so if you want to go by the comics for the DC 1 Million storyline, but I'm not going there. Right now I'm talking about the TV universes. We saw a little image of the Legion of Superheroes going through from Earth 1 to Earth 2. We saw the Legion flight ring. Very cool stuff. But that raises a serious question. If we are to see the Legion of Superheroes show up in the TV universe, which one? Would you like them to show up in Supergirl, where there are no other metahuman superheroes, but we do have the Kryptonians, Superman and Supergirl? Or would you like to see them show up eventually in The Flash, where there are no Kryptonians, but instead they're inspired by the first metahuman superhero in this universe, which is the fastest man alive? Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and also, here's the most important thing. Down below in the video description, you're going to find links to the Twitter pages of the writers' rooms of both The Flash and Supergirl. Now, so far, the writers on both shows have been doing pretty darn good as far as for taking the lore of 70 plus years of comic books, as well as mixing new things in to keep it fresh and keeping all of us fans on our toes. We don't know what to expect, but when they usually have it, it's a great nod to them. The Legion of Superheroes was a great nod. But which TV universe will we see them in next? This is up to you now. As a fan, it's time to make your voices heard. Let them know. Get on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, sign up. It's free. And just let them know what you guys think. They may not respond directly to you. They might not retweet what you post. But individually, they might not respond. But altogether, as the voice of the fans, they do hear us. And eventually, we see that on the screen. So, what would you like to see for the Legion? One of the other possible theories, here's another what if. One of the theories that they were talking about was eventually having the Flash cross over into the Smallville universe, where Tom Welling, that Clark Kent became Superman. And of course, in that universe, they do have Impulse, or Kid Flash, or the Flash, Bart Allen in there. Interesting stuff. So we might even get to see them cross over into a past world of Smallville, and the Legion can interact with them there. See, I'm trying to discuss possibilities. Do you want to see them in the Flash TV universe? Do you want to see them in the Supergirl TV universe? Or do you want to see something really unexpected and see them cross over into the Smallville universe and see what's going on there? Come on, guys. Talk about it. Make your voices heard. Let's get a discussion going and let the writers' rooms know what you think. Until next time, guys, Dave signing off. Peace. Yum, yum.